Looks like I'm live. Deciding to try out my got a new webcam that I bought for posting drawing videos. So I figured I'd do that. Got this, let me first show you. These are the little ink drawings I usually do. Let's see if my focus is okay. Because I can turn on and off the autofocus on this. There we go, and that looks like it's focused better. And I take some of these little drawings and I blow them up and print them out in blue line on this. And this is what I draw. I'm going to draw right on ink in this. 6x9. I have the edges taped off with Scotch removable tape so that it comes off easily when I need it to come off. And I want to use my 3 pens in this one, my 3-pen technique. This is the first one, Neo Pico line 2, and this is refilled with this ink. If you probably can't see it on screen, but if you look on here, if you rotate the pen around, there's a little notch, a little trough in the pen tip. And you put drops of ink on there and it refills the sponge that's in here. This one, a sign pen, is also refilled with this ink. I just pull the back cap off here and pull out the sponge, and once again just take drops of ink and put it in there. And this one I don't refill. It's a different type, not a sponge. It's got an ink reservoir, which is in here, and you can see it when it runs out. But that's got good ink anyway. This one doesn't have such good ink. This one's got good ink, but it runs out really quickly. That's a really big tip. Excuse me. Now let's see here. Something like this. This all depends on me having drawn stuff before, because I'm just using the blue lines as guidelines. The first thing I do is this eye here. And let's see, let's do the swoop of the eye. Then I'm going to give it a swirl at the end. Just because that's something I've done before. And even though it's not in the initial drawing, then I usually put in the little tear duct there. And a nice big round part over there. And sometimes I do all the thick stuff. Sometimes I switch between pens. Like right now, I could do this at the end or when I switch pens, but I'll do it right now. I'm going to put an eyelid in there, but with a thinner pen. We're also going to put that tear duct in there with a thinner pen. Now let's go back to... Now I could use a circle template on this if I wanted to, but I'm not in the mood. I'm just going to eyeball my little circle there, because sometimes you don't want them to be perfect. And I'm going to put a reflection in there too. Reflection of a light. And sometimes I use a circle template because I want it to be a perfect circle. Sometimes I don't. It all depends. Let's see. Let's figure out that's kind of an eyebrow in there. Let's mix that eyebrow with these 3 triangles to make a triangle-shaped eyebrow. Now, I got an idea. I'll switch over to the medium-sized pen and put triangles in my triangles. Black them in a little bit too. I'm just looking for designs and things as I draw. This type of drawing isn't about drawing anything realistic. And let me get my finest one, which really isn't that fine a point. It's a 0.8. But I want to just put a point on top of this eyebrow a little more, because I used the big brush for that, which makes them kind of blunt. But I can always outline them with this one. There we go. That gets a little bit more how I like it, what I'm looking for. And you know what? I'm going to put some points along the eyelid for no particular reason, except I'm looking for interesting designs. Now I want that eyelid a little thicker, I think. We get our medium-sized one. Make it just a little thicker, a little darker. There we go. Now what do we get? You know what? I want to, sometimes when I do something in this area, I now want to do something over here. And let me get my piece of brown paper. I often use a piece of brown paper when I'm going to put my hand on the drawing so I don't get the sweat from my hand. Whoop, wrong pen. Onto the drawing. I do it a lot more with my bigger drawings. I just picked up both wrong pens. I want this one to make the jawline. We'll bring this jawline right to there because I think I'm going to drop some hair over there. I'm going to drop some hair right there. Even though I had the hair done differently in the sketch, I want it to match up with that jawline. So there's the hair, there's the jaw. You notice I'm bringing it right over the edge because I got this taped off. So when I pull up this tape, all of this stuff that goes over the edge will go with it. Put another piece over here. We'll give this one a little wave in the middle of the hair so it's not all perfectly straight. This indicates some, make this one a little thicker too since it's the edge of the hair. All right, let's do this side of the jaw. I'll just bring this around. Bring it up there. As you can see, it didn't quite go off that edge the way I wanted it to, so I'll redo it. Sometimes you have to disguise where your two lines meet. You can also make this jaw a little bit thicker because it's kind of the biggest thing on the page. Let's go the inside edge. Let's go the outside edge. That's what I'm doing here with this. I'm kind of building a shape out of a line. I'm drawing because the line is thicker than my actual pen, I'm drawing the inside of the line. I'm drawing the outside of the line. Let's give this a little hair over here too. We'll make it just go off that eyebrow. We don't want it on the eyebrow. A little closer, a little thicker. There we go. Now, what did I do here? This nose. Let's round out this. It looks like our eye is two arrows. See that our eye over there is just two arrows. I also have a exposure button. See, makes the blue line disappear. Makes the blue line darker on this camera. That's what I'm trying out. Where do I like that exposure? Somewhere around there. You should be able to see the blue line. Let's grab this little bit of nose here. We're going to bring it up from where it is. I put a little pointy nose on them. Make that nose a little bigger. And I'm going to connect that nose right to this brow up here. We're going to put some triangles on this brow too, just a couple of them sticking out. Since we did that, oh look at that! I just dragged a little piece of ink across there. Something must not have been dry. I'll have to do something with that. That's the happy accident that Bob Ross tells you about. You're like, all right, now there's going to be a line there, so let's see what I can do with it. Put a little nostril in there. Flare it out a little. But as you can see, I'm not following these blue lines exactly since they're just sketches. I'm just using them as guides. Let's see, let's put a few tick marks as eyelashes under there. That's good. Then the mouth is just an X. 2 pieces of tape over the mouth. I think we're going to need to make those with our thick pen. And we're going to need to make them, we want them to be 1X, I think, and not cross over in the middle. So we'll do this. Edge, that side of the X. And we'll do that side of the X. Now should that be a black X or should it be, I think that should be a black X. So let's just color that in. Let's give that a minute to settle down. Let's make some edge, these edges get messy with that big thick pen, so I'll clean some of these edges with the thinner pen. There we go. Clean that up a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is supposed to be a quick drawing. Now let's start over here with this sort of mark on the cheekbone, but it's up way too high. I'm going to have to bring it down here. And we'll end it where it ends. There we go. I'm going to put some marks across there to give it a little different color and texture than everything else. In fact, I'm going to put some color in the eye with my little pen. Just a few lines. Now let's see. Let's get that. Yeah, let's get this eye first. You know what? We're going to make it one big arrow. Instead of 2 little arrows like that, we're going to make it one big arrow. So instead of having an eye, he's got an arrow. There we go. And we'll make this over here with some lines in it. Switch over to the other pen, get some medium lines. You know what I need? I need something up here. A triangle. Not a thick line triangle, but a thin lined one. We'll put some lines across that. And you know what? I want some more hair up here, dropping down off of that hair. There we go. You got a little thicker on the last one. I like the way it's coming out so far. You know what? Let's make some more triangles up here to meet up with these triangles. Sort of an interlocking sawtooth look on the top of this person's head. And this is the kind of drawing I like to do to kind of get loose and see what kind of imagery I can find. And if I really wanted to make this into something finished, I'd blow it up and redraw it once again to get everything perfect. But right now, everything doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be interesting. Let's see here. See, right here, I've got, you can tell by the blue lines, I've got the neck in the middle, but I kind of want it off to the side a little. So we're gonna change the way the shoulders are. Draw the shoulders. We'll give them sort of a 3/4 shoulders view, just because I think that's a little more interesting. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm going to take that happy accident line and make it into a neck design. We'll start with some thick lines. Then go in. We'll take our thinnest brush and snap some crackly lines next to them. Starts to look a little like a turtleneck. Put one over here just for the heck of it. Let's see. Now we can even give it a little more texture by snapping some lines this way. We'll do it every other one. I like patterns. So to do it every one wouldn't be as much as patterned as to do it every other one. There we go. That one little stray line in his neck became a turtleneck design. Let's see. Let's put in the bottom of the hair. Bottom of the hair right there. And we'll draw some up here. We'll make this hair a little wiggly, not as straight as the top. Now this is a face that I don't know if it's a him or a her. This one's kind of a him to me. But it doesn't mean he is. I draw a lot of androgynous things just because when you're drawing weird faces, there aren't always markers to tell male and female. Let's give a little collar around that neck. That way we can drop down some lines on that collar to give us a little direction too. Those lines I drop on the collar just makes it look makes it look a little more in perspective. There's little hints of those lines are hints of perspective. Let's put some lines down there too, just for the heck of it. There we go. Now we got a little head number. You know what? This person needs a nose ring. I don't know why. And we'll blacken in the part of that nose ring. Yeah, we'll blacken in the whole thing. Why not? I just saw that big nostril there and wanted to draw something on it. We can bring one of those triangles that's on the top of his head down to the bottom. It looks like down here we got some hints of a sleeve. So let's do that. A little hint of a shoulder and a little hint of a sleeve. Drop that in there. We only have this little tiny area as background, but we can put a little quick mountain. First, we'll establish a horizon line right there. Then we'll just draw some sort of lines for grass or the ground, whatever, some lines for plains. Then we can put some mountains back here. We can blacken those in or fill them in kind of with these lines. We'll see which way I like. Not bad. I'll add some dark lines in there too. Let's grab this and do the same thing. Whoops. Went up over it a little bit. When in doubt, black it out. That's an old saying that works pretty well. Much better. When in doubt, black it out. Ooh, then let's get our little one and put some little clouds back there. Just some swirly cloud lines, nothing too specific, just designy stuff. These are clouds really abstracted to give a texture to the sky. Now we'll go in with our little pen and add little things in because I need so everything's so thick that I'll add thin lines in for a little visual interest. Let's add a thin line right up here at the end of the lashes. Let's add a thin line to the bridge of the nose, a couple crossing lines, and then another thin line. Just hinting at lighting. It's not real lighting. It's just hinting at the idea of lighting. Let's do that along this cheek too. Once again, this isn't any kind of real lighting. That's just giving a... Ooh, we need a circle right there. And 2 circles right there. Once again, if I wanted to do this perfectly, I'd get out one of my circle templates or ellipse templates, depending on which one I wanted to use. And maybe use those. Sometimes I see little things I have to go back in and fix, but most of the time I don't bother. Like I just wanted that a little more triangular. Let's see if we can get that a little rounded there. You know, nothing terribly important. Just sometimes I like to clean little stuff up. Like I can make this. I kind of like it not sharp, but let's try it sharp. We'll get that arrow a little sharper. Fill that in. There we go. I also want a line. You know what? I want the medium line. Let's go with the medium line. And also one of the, if you notice, I'm flipping the paper around a lot because when you're drawing, you should always go with the curve of your hand. See, when my hand moves, it naturally makes an arc that sticks up. So I want to, if I were to draw this way, it would naturally follow the arc of my hand. If I were to try and draw it this way, it's a lot more clumsy because it's not following the arc of my arm. Actually, I'm not. I'm actually using my elbow as a pivot point. My elbow and my forearm, not my wrist. I'm not drawing with my wrist because I rarely do that. I have my my forearm down here, and that's my pivot point. It gives me a little more freedom of motion. This looks like it needs a few lines up here. You know what? Let's go with a whole pattern in this strange eyelid. We're filling it up. There we go. That's interesting. Now I want to put another circle. Since I filled that with a pattern, I want another circle up there to make this more of a pattern. We're even going to put a third one up. That one's under the hair a little. That one's up there. There we go. Now we got 3. That makes me want to put little circles in here. Inside those concave lines. You see, now I'm looking for patterns. Ooh, look, there we go. Once I get a lot of stuff drawn on, I start looking for patterns and looking for more stuff to draw on. Circles here. 1, 2, 3. You know what? I want to fill this shirt in down here with patterns now. We're going to follow this line right here for the whole rest of the shirt until we get into the middle. Then we're going to follow this line. Now we're going to put little circles in here. Only on the bottom, I think. But my mind, after I find one pattern, it searches for the next one that I'm looking for. Now I kind of want that eye to be perfect after doing all that pattern stuff. So let me see what I can do with my circle template. Let's pull that out and see what we got. Ooh, that'll work right there. I'll at least make that edge a little more perfect. That kind of changes the look of the whole thing. Should I make the inside one a little more perfect too? There we go. It's not quite perfect. One side's thicker than the other. Let's see if I can make the other side thick. What I do when I'm doing that, I'm dropping this on and I'm shifting it over slightly because I only want to draw on the left side. There we go. Now I'm liking it. But that's when sometimes I'll bring out the old circle template because I just wanted that eye to look differently than I had it right there. So let's cut these in half. Once again, this takes practice in terms of finding the patterns because I've done this a lot. I'm well practiced at looking for patterns and finding the ones that I want. Let's take that little notch out of the nose. And sometimes things like that little notch doesn't bother me. Then I get to the end and I'm like, and I'm looking for patterns and I'm like, what do I trying to find? I'm trying to look for those. Like I said, we can maybe point this out a little. Nah, let's keep that rounded. Someone's here, Jay. Glad you're able to make my live session too. This is the first one I'm trying. I bought this camera about a month ago to do stuff like this, but haven't been able to get stuff going until right now. So this is the first one that I'm trying. I want to make this shoulder a little thicker. That's what it means. Because these aren't reading his shoulders. I'll bring that one down a little bit. You know what I'm going to do? I think this might be the last thing. Let's put in the thin, with the thin pen, we're going to put in a few more lines in this ground to give that a little more variety and make it look less uniform than just that one line. Then we're going to add a few more lines into this highlight. There we go. I like that. I like that last little bit. You know what? I'm also going to make this jawline a little bit different by adding in some, whoops. See, that one went a little too far, but that's okay because These are just little half circles that I'm putting in there to make a pattern in his jawline rather than keeping it straight. Alright, now I'm going to put some dots in the half circles too. There we go. We got to bring this right up. Ah, we are at the edge. Let's go right there. Let's bring this right down to here. Right, I think I'm done with this one. Now I'm going to pull the tape off it. And you're going to watch the edges get nice and clean. Let's see. How come? There we go. That's one of the most satisfying parts when you're done pulling the tape off the edges. And all of a sudden your messy edges become like, and this is removable tape. You don't want to use regular Scotch tape on this. You got to use removable Scotch tape. That way it doesn't hurt your paper. There you go. There's the finished drawing. Let me raise up the little arms, see if I can get a better shot of it. Oops, come down here. There's the tape. Let's get rid of that. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this drawing session. Probably going to do some more at some point. Maybe teach some lessons. And you guys have a good night out there. Something is killing the children. All right.